Hi y'all, there's just been a bit of a hiccup with my iPad and it's not turning back on. I have taken it up to the shop at some point last April to get it diagnosed, but I'm sure you know what this means. My Heyyyooo is getting an indefinite hiatus. At least indefinite for until I get it fixed. However, faith in that outcome isn't really too high right now, so this is where I'm switching tactics. I need your help. With my iPad out of commission, so too are the other projects I was planning on working on. One of them being a YouTube video about how to make and create your own AU for your story, among other things and ideas. So what I need your help with is with video ideas. I want to talk about anything and everything to really do with art in general to all of you, to help you get a firmer understanding on the ever-changing and evolving craft. And yes, there are definitely also a lot of other videos on this platform touching on these very similar topics, and by some very irrefutable professionals. But you've never encountered a hyperfixated unprofessional before, so who really knows what I could possibly bring to the table? Isn't it exciting? No. Well, that's too dang bad. I'm doing it anyway. But while the previous video was supposed to be this whole fancy and well-edited thing with goofy animations and shoutouts to a list of some of the other amazing MOPAUs that exist out there in TikTok and also beyond, well, apparently we can't have nice things. So now we're going the more simplistic and general limited route with the breakdown I was trying for. My previous script? Who needs it? We're testing the waters with what we're limited in doing right now, so let's just have some passive fun in this situation. Now, let's get on it. Also, P.S. The reason I want video ideas is because I want to open up monetization on my YouTube channel to get that started. I'm not going to ask you to donate at all because I don't got anything opened up for that, and I'm still kind of not wanting to, unless prompted as often as spam by you guys and I actually finally cry mercy. I want people to donate not for nothing or because I said I desperately need it. I don't want to e-beg. My father didn't raise me right for nothing. So whatever questions you want to raise regarding art, general story, or anything else creative and appropriate to the craft, I'm all ears. It's all I can do for right now, too. Oops. Anyways, now back to my first tutorial video. Please be nice in constructive criticism. So, one thing you must seriously consider about your AU, be it MOP or even another IP you're taking creative liberties with, is the story you're working on telling. Be it big or small, you gotta write it down either on paper or open a new note in your notes app. You go from the very beginning where it will introduce either the characters, the origin, and appearance of the affliction, or whatever else you feel driven to focus on. And then you push on to writing just slight main scenes of your story that can help push the plot forward. We usually worry about symbolism or whatever other subliminal storytelling aspect later on when we finally hunker down to working on the chapters or parts and stuff, but every creative is made different. Just avoid burnout and work at your own pace. Now, with the primary events out of the way, you'll finally take on the conclusory final you've more or less built up over the summarization of the story. Now, look at what you've worked on in completion. Really look at it. Is it what you liked so far for your story? Well, we'll soon find out once you start working on it. You see, when it comes to organic stories with its own plots and even sometimes characters, there's not really any right way to working on it. It's more so based on all that you can think of would be good for your story. And don't get too attached. Many events may end up getting changed or switched or even fluctuate during the creative and publishing process. So even you may end up surprised with what you get. Now, moving on to the inspiration. Like, with all things creative and art, inspiration comes and goes with either a flash and bang, or like a thief in the night. You can get it in a multitude of ways, and it can also come right down to you and what instance you find yourself. As for me, I just looked at the Nightmare of Rabies and put extra steps to it in my AU, which I will continue once my iPad is either fully recovered or replaced, mind you. But remember to help me out. Definitely like and subscribe my YouTube video and channel, and comment down below what else you would like to see me cover as an unprofessional art goober. Anyway, you can also get inspiration from watching your dreams, or nightmares, and writing them down. Reading others' AU stories to gather inspiration, or even my own personal favorite, whacking. Outside, how about that? because you can get a whole lot of inspiration and ideas from movement and wandering your surroundings like that. Going from an unsuspecting sickness that transmits through something as innocent as butterflies with a person afraid of butterflies surviving and thriving, or even a haunted story with someone trapped in a liminal space with a lethal spooky entity, and the only way out being either non-existent or in a forceful outward way of self-discovery. To name a couple of ideas for some people, wink. It all mostly comes down to you and you alone. Now, as for the art, I suppose I can show you a breakdown of my own process for drawing either ponies or animals, though I'm kinda out of practice for certain creatures myself, in future videos. But an art style itself mostly comes down to the artist and how they stylize specific things. It's important, when working on an AU, that you have most of the written and planned story predate the art itself, which is smartly why I put story before art as well in this video. And also, it helps to have as much progress on your AU done in as many chapters as possible so you can better publish your work in a timely and scheduled manner. But remember, don't post it all at once though. You still need time for yourself to progress your chapters or parts so that you can keep progress ahead of schedule if you ever find yourself not able to find time to publish a part outright. So you can just have an already finished episode as backup and waiting in the wings, unless you're like me. One trick that I do to keep a semblance of uniformity to my work process is what I like to call the backwards or forwards, depending on perspective, rule of threes. Number 1, I dialogue and list on my page first what characters are interacting and where as a start. If you're working on digital, you can separate or delete that in the layer without worry. Number 2, I finally start sketching the characters and the scene out with the information I had already pre-given with the previous step, setting up all that I can possibly think of to really make my work breathe with a certain life that could be exemplified by whatever character is within that scene. Just simple pencil strokes can convey a lot to the viewer. The feeling of dread, the exposition of a story into a newer time, or even the subtle development of two interacting characters with just a minute change in expression. At this point, need I go on with the power and presence of storytelling alone? But moving on to the final step. This is where the final line art of the chapter or piece comes in, and this is where coloring can bring it all together in your next publishing of your story installment. And those were my 3 steps to better progressing a story and artwork revolving around my AU, or anyone else's AU. Definitely take from this what I've offered and run with it at your own speed, or even manufacture your own. As touched on in the previous part, many artists can agree that the characters themselves are a completely integral part of the story you're trying to tell. I mean, you have main characters for a reason, and they help the reader to follow along and personally understand the world and narrative as a whole. Whether it be by symbolic narration or subtle story exposition, there's a lot you have to intuit in order for the story to tell itself well. And I do mean having the story tell itself. Again, storytelling comes to every creator in different ways, and I listed some possibilities in previous segments. However, characters are not so flexible. At least, not for main characters for a show you're writing for, fan-wise. You have the already existing source material as a foundational reference to fall back on for more inventive guidance. Or, in other words, better homework, where you already get a cheat sheet to copy from. And once you have a general idea of how these characters fare in whatever situation, dire or otherwise, that they find themselves in, you can imagine what else they can take on to further the plot of your favorite AU story. And last, but certainly not least, the conclusion of your story. Your chosen characters had went through so much and had successfully gone so far, and now we've come to the anticipated end of it. How shall it go? Will they win it all, or will they lose, opening up the gateway to a new branch of story following a new character, with similar but different struggles and ambitions? And will the former truly be the chosen one after all? You see, when it comes to the conclusion, it has to completely and logically wrap up everything the reader has seen and experienced before when reading the story. Sometimes expectations can be subverted, and reaction can go one of 2 ways. I'm sure we all know the ways already, but that shouldn't be the defining factor of how your story is supposed to go anyway. unless it's like an interactive thing, which is very, very clever. The story is yours, not the reader, you. Since you're the one bringing it all to the forefront and in front of their eyes, they also have to accept how a story is driven to be ended. Now, am I saying there can't be bad stories that are needing another's faithful touch-up? No. And maybe mine's that way, but it's not like we're going to find out anytime soon. Fuck. However, people can definitely discern when a work is faithfully being adapted or just plain being unfaithfully adapted. Yes. But again, this segment is not here to scare you. It's just a standard caution. Readers can be loud, and also be extra passionate about the source material, should you be working on a fan-made project. You can listen to them, as they can have good constructive advice as creators themselves, but you also have to draw a line on how your inspired story is being driven. It all entirely comes down to you and you alone, as the inspiration has chosen you to tell your story, not the other way around. And things can be very scary and nerve-wracking, especially if it's your first publication. But true creatives who are interested in your craft will be just that. Interested in your craft and what else you have to bring to the table. So, trust me, continue your story your way, and just completely blow the pants off the watching people with your talent and skill. So, with that said and done, that was my imperfect video on how to make your own Heyyyooo story. Did I touch on as much as I should have compared to my last planned script? I sure tried to. And also probably failed still, but I digress. Again, should you have any more questions about the crafts of stories and anything else to do with art, comment it down below, and I'll see what kind of video I could cook up to give an answer. As for others who just want to learn but don't know what to really ask or narrow down specifically, like and subscribe for perhaps a future video touching on the very topic you were psychically wanting to know. Or swim through the sea of art videos on YouTube and perhaps you'll see exactly what you're looking for from other professional artist channels to learn more. Remember, art is never truly one note. It's ever changing and evolving, and what you may think is your final style never truly is. Unless you feel comfortable with it, of course. But it's very hard work, I tell you what. But just remember these last words before I end my video off here. You are your own special little creative, and your stories do deserve to be seen and viewed by all who are interested. There's lots of pessimistic concern about creativity in the world hitting a dry patch, but every time I look at all the fascinating and incredible Heyyyooo stories showing up on my TikTok For You page, I get a little more excited at all the stories still yet to be told by those who want to work on their story, but don't know where or how to start. Don't give up, not on your story or you. There's lots of other established artists and storytellers out there that are ready to help you should you ask. And if you need to ask, definitely inquire the MLP archives on TikTok or even your favorite MLP creator for how to best get started. Or again, if you have a general question about anything art or original stories yourself, here I am. Hello! I'm trying to be more here on my TikTok account at Mad Mongrel and even on my YouTube channel at DoodleKnee. So definitely shoot me the question you want answered, and I can make a video on it. Just remember to like and subscribe so you can get better notified on when I drop the video. And help me get my channel monetized. I'm trying to make money, man. My iPad broke and I want to keep making content to better help other creatives for free on your part, but not on YouTube's part. I want my moolah. But that's all for me. See you until the next video drops. Bye!